Hi, everybody, and welcome to another version of the MDR Evo Library Champion Interview. I'm really happy today because I have one of my most favorite people, my most favorite brands, for one of my most favorite places to talk about. So it actually gives me a lot of spirit in my time today. I'm Dave Newman. I'm Evo Guy, extra virgin olive oil guy, evoguy.com. And I am a trained professional olive oil taster after 11 years of education with the Onal School in Italy and have been an olive oil executive. I'm an olive oil judge, and I'm also an author of my new book, Extra Virgin Olive Oil, The Truth in Your Kitchen, which is a must read for anybody that really doesn't understand what extra virgin olive oil is and how to use your senses of smell, taste, and feeling for pungency, and use that as a main curator of quality in your life. Today, we're going to be chatting with one of our champions that came new to the MDR Library. The MDR Library is a brainchild of Daniela Puglielli, who is an Italian force to be reckoned with in the food world, in public relations. And this is a think tank that she created for the hospitality industry, for the trade, to talk to experts in the field of the Mediterranean diet, communicate their points of difference and relevance, and get that out into the market so consumers can actually enjoy real Mediterranean diet food, not false claims and false narratives. Today, I'm sure you'll see on my screen someone a lot more lovely and a lot more energetic than myself. And it's the founder of Kosterina brand, extra virgin olive oil, and other wonderful items that I'm sure you recognize from TV, from the news. Katerina, and you're gonna have to help me with your last name, even though I've worked in Greece for years, I always destroy Greek names. Muntanos.
Muntanos, yes.
Muntanos, Katerina Muntanos. And I'm going to have her explain to you how the name Kosterina came around because I love that little bit of how that happened. Katerina has joined us on the MDR this year, and with her cornerstone products, which she'll tell us about, but also all the new products that she's been working on. It's an unbelievable production over there of the things, the creativity. It's like the Willy Wonka of premium Greek food, which is so inspiring to me. You can ask her some wonderful questions and taste some of her oils in our professional blue glasses. And she's also going to let us know about some fun things that are available on our website and maybe also in stores and Amazon that are single use of her products to take with you and avoid eating that dreadful oil that I've talked so much about in restaurants. Welcome, Katerina, to being with us here at the MDR Evo Library.
Thank you so much, Dave. I really appreciate you having me. It's a pleasure. And I'm so, fascinated by everything that you and Daniela are doing with the MDR. Everyone listening here probably knows the Mediterranean diet and lifestyle wins as the best and healthiest lifestyle and diet to follow year after year. And, that's really our mission as well, really trying to move people away from, vegetable oils and seed oils and canola over to olive oil. And so I really support everything that you guys are doing, and we're thrilled to be a part of it.
Thank you. And what I particularly like is you're a young person, and it's obviously your heritage, but you are coming into a category that's usually filled with, older, ethnic guys. Yeah, I'm an older guy, but I'm not ethnic, that felt that olive oil was in our domain. It wasn't necessarily a female friendly environment. There's a lot of competitiveness and smack talking. The Greeks in particular are pretty difficult to deal with sometimes. And yet you've been able to bridge that gap. Maybe it's a sign of the times, but so impressed with your energy, your creativity, and coming into a category that is completely overwhelmed with crap on the shelf, and that you're not afraid of price, you're not afraid of packaging, you're not afraid of competition. Where does that spirit come from? I know you have a very strong background in CPG, but what has driven you to create this brand and fight the fight that you have to deal with every day?
Well, thank you so much for the kind words. The Kosterina brand has really been inspired by so many different aspects of my life and so many different interests, and really my love for Greece and good olive oil, Mediterranean diet, and beauty and health and wellness has really all come together and culminated in this brand. And so Kosterina is really inspired by my ethnic heritage. So I'm Greek. I'm 100% Greek. My parents were born there and emigrated here as teenagers. I think a defining aspect of my childhood was actually that my mother worked for an airline. She worked for British Airways. And so we flew for free to Greece. And so I was going to Greece, 3-4 times a year as a child, which is probably much more than we would have been able to travel back to if that wasn't the case. And so my dad is from a small town in southern Greece called Koroni. It's right outside of Kalamata, and it's basically olive country. There are olives growing everywhere. My family grows olive oil, makes olive oil in southern Greece, and so does my husband's family. And as I became an adult and started a family and began cooking more at home, I realized that the extra virgin olive oil, quote unquote, on the shelf here, whether it was Greek or Italian, just tasted disgusting. I was like, this is nothing like what my family and I enjoy in southern Greece. And I really just became kind of obsessed with finding good olive oil in the US. And it was very expensive when I did find it. I took an olive oil sommelier course from the New York International Olive Oil Competition and Olive Oil Times. And that's where I really learned about the health benefits of early harvest olive oil. Mm-hmm. And, it really blew me away to understand just how healthy olive oil can be when it was harvested early, and the antioxidants and polyphenol content that occurs naturally in that olive, which, as you probably know, and many of listening know, can act like ibuprofen. This, natural substance acts like man-made chemical ibuprofen and has those same health benefits. And was really just kind of blown away by those stories. And it made me really want to bring that product to the US. I felt that the US consumer didn't know and hadn't really tasted real olive oil yet. Right. So that was kind of the impetus for creating the brand.
And what you've done is Greeks have always had a really deft hand at packaging. I've always seen, these Greek brands have always been beautifully packaged, but the oil has not always met the same standard as the package. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I think that olive oil producers in general try to overpackage it. It's like putting lipstick on a pig, to be direct. What I love about your brand is there's no disconnects. The product itself has to be as wonderful as the package that it's in. And for people that have not read my book or don't know, I will just highlight a couple of things that are really important that Kosterina can expand on. Is this bottle is 100% painted, okay? It means that there's 100% UV block. This bottle will not allow any light into it, where a typical olive oil bottle would have dark glass, would be 90% UV. So light can still get in. There's no light in here. They actually also have the harvest date very clearly on the neckband. Harvest of 21 was the last harvest, good till best before 2023, which is typical. The fact is that average olive oils in the supermarket will not last 2 years. Hers will exceed 2 years, and the new harvest is coming. This bottle has to be painted, which means any major changes to the bottle is significant. It's not like a label that you can just change the flexo and reprint the label. This bottle is painted. These are almost too pretty to throw away. When I empty your bottle, I save them because I can put flowers in them. They're actually beautiful. And tell me, you have these are the two original items, right? It's the original extra virgin, which is 100% Korniki. And then you have the everyday, which is also Korniki, but organic. And why don't you help us understand? I know the difference, but coming from you, what is the difference between the white bottle and the blue bottle? And would I need both in my household?
Yeah, absolutely. And our answer would be that yes, you do need both. So the white bottle is the Kosterina original extra virgin olive oil. That was our very first product. We had just one product for several years before we began to build out the company and the product line. Our original extra virgin olive oil has always used organic farming methods. And I'm actually thrilled to say that in 2023, we will be certified organic as well. We would, of course, never use pesticides in creating this incredible olive oil. And so that's going to be an exciting move. But the original extra virgin olive oil is our earliest harvest olive oil. It has polyphenol content of 470 milligrams per kilogram. To me, that's like the perfect sweet spot of polyphenol content where the product still tastes amazing. It's not too bitter, but it does maximize on those health benefits. So we recommend the white bottle for your table. That's anytime you are, and I would love to hear what you think as you're tasting.
I am tasting when you're talking, because you make, when I hear someone talk about olive oil with your knowledge skill, it drives me to taste like if I was in my school again, because my professors talk and we taste. And this is a signature Korniki, except it's far better. I think people don't understand in Greece, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have spent many, many years in Greece. And it's in my book. Unfortunately, I had to use a Greek reference in my book because as wonderful as many Greek farmers are, there's a lot that are stuck in their old ways. And the old ways are what cause a major defect, which is fusty. And you can actually smell fusty driving through the hills of Crete because it's so rank. And it's basically where the farmers use these sacks, the jute sacks. And here you'll see in my book a picture of the sacks. This is, I'm sure, very typical for you in some rural parts of Greece, where the Greece is very mountainous and there's no level ground. So they have these ATVs and they fill up these sacks from the trees, which sounds very romantic, except the olives in here are sweating. It's quite warm. And that sweatiness creates an anaerobic fermentation, which really leads to a defect called fusty. And fusty is not something you can get rid of. Those olives will always be fusty. And they should crush them and package them as virgin if the defect is less than 2 out of 10, or lampante, or refine it if it's more than 10 out of defect. But they don't, because they're fascinated with the extra virgin value proposition. So this is where Greece goes wrong, is packaging these damaged olives as fusty. And yet your oil is far from fusty. Your oil is elegant, it's delicate, it's got perfume, there's no greasiness, it's not overly aggressively bitter. It's a perfect finish oil. I'd say it's a medium fruity, which is where you want it to be, because that satisfies the people that want a lot of flavor and some bitter, but it's not too aggressive for people that like a milder cultivar.
Exactly. That's why I love Koroniki, one, because it's really where you can maximize that polyphenol content and get those health benefits, but it's also mild and doesn't overpower your food. Like when I think about Arbequina and Picual, like it really overpowers your food in some instances. And so I really think of Koroniki and what we've done with Kosterina as what you can use on literally everything.
Right.
You can use it for, cooking, baking, and finishing. And so to answer your question about the white and the blue bottle, the white bottle is our finishing oil. We recommend using that whenever temperature is not applied. And then the blue bottle is anytime the temperature is applied. So cooking and baking. And that has a very high smoke point. You can cook up to 450 with the everyday extra virgin olive oil. And the big difference is price. So that white bottle of olive oil is a $30 bottle of olive oil. The blue everyday is just under $20. And the way that we do that, and many listening here probably know that an early harvest olive oil, you squeeze it, not a lot of juice comes out. Right. And that's why it takes a lot more olives to get, the same amount of olive oil, and that's why it's more expensive. What we did with the everyday is that polyphenol content is around 300 milligrams per kilogram. And so we waited slightly later into the harvest, still much earlier than what you typically find on the supermarket shelf, which is around 50. And so in our opinion, that blue bottle is the absolute best quality olive oil that you can get at that price point.
Right. And what I love is that you're actually talking and promoting cooking with extra virgin olive oil, which in your country, it's everywhere. If people don't know, Greeks are the largest consumers of extra virgin olive oil in the world. The last numbers that came out of the IOC, the International Olive Council, was 24.5 liters per person per year in Greece.
Yep.
America,
which is literally 24 times the amount of Americans.
Right. And that's a liter, and your bottles are half liters. That means there's 50 bottles. That means 1 a week per person. In America, it's less than 0.9 liters. You're absolutely right. It's disgusting. It's very sad, because you know what we're using if we're not using extra virgin. Exactly. And then people say, well, you can't cook with extra virgin. Well, here is page 172 of my book, and this is in Heraklion. And here's a lovely lady on her food stand on the side of the road cooking loukamadas.
Yeah, we fry in olive oil all the time. I mean, hearing people say you cannot cook with olive oil in this country, I'm like, what does one cook with if not with olive oil? It doesn't make sense. Right. We literally cook everything in it. Yeah. And, I think the new research has now caught up and shows that olive oil is, in fact, the safest and healthiest oil to be cooking with because of the level of free radicals emitted when temperature is applied. When you cook with canola and vegetable oil, there's a very high level of free radicals emitted, and that's a much better measure than smoke point of whether you should use an olive oil.
Because those oils don't have polyphenols, and the polyphenols are the natural protectant, the antioxidants that protects the oil from smoking and becoming dangerous. And the other thing is, I was talking to somebody about, I think on the other episode, was how many fats do we put in our mouth and will actually consume? Like, as I just drank and tasted your blue bottle, which I have in my mouth, and it is softer. It is a little bit more, I get a little bit more almond. So it's a little bit sweeter. When we talk about sweet in olive oil, we're not talking about sweet like her chocolate. We're talking milder, a little bit, a different fruitiness, a little bit more ripe, but not overripe. It's not damaged. It's just softer. And so when you're cooking with it, it doesn't overwhelm the food.
Right, exactly.
But I just put 10 mLs of oil in my mouth and I swallowed it. Tell me a fat that you could take, liquid or solid, and it would actually put in your mouth. Would we do coconut oil in your mouth? Would you put butter? Would you put canola oil? Would you put lard? People don't understand that you need a healthy fat in your diet. It's part of our, protein, carbs, fat ratio, and our brain uses fat as its most efficient fuel. So if you're going to add fat, why would you not add a healthy fat that tastes good, has antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties, and people enjoy it? It's a luxury. It's fun.
Exactly.
It's nice.
It's such a win-win, healthy and delicious. It's rare that you find that in the same product. So
I'm sure what you're doing is rubbing off on your kids, and hopefully you're going to leave them a legacy, because you've brought something to the market that desperately needed, which is, Greeks have not been the best marketers in the world. They make great products. They have great packaging. They've invented almost everything. They invented olive oil. We know that. But they've just somehow been behind the Italians. And the Italians, are sometimes bullies about marketing. We're Italian. We're the best. Okay, well, there's great oils everywhere and there's terrible oils everywhere. Go to Rome and eat in a trattoria. The oil is inedible. You'll choke to death on it. So don't say that Italy has the best olive oil. I have been to Greece probably 20 times, and I've had some of the best oils on the planet. And I've had some oils that were, not great. Your oil is world class. And I can say that without hesitation. I am, not paid or anything. It is a staggeringly wonderful oil. How can people find this oil? I know you're in stores. I've seen you in Whole Foods. This is also worldwide podcast, but in America, where can they find these products easiest?
Yeah, we're national at Whole Foods, every single Whole Foods store across the country. And on Kosterina.com, we sell a more broad lineup of all our flavored olive oils, balsamic vinegars, chocolates, skincare,
the garlic,
all on our website. And then we're also on Food 52. We're in Crate and Barrel stores, Amazon. And so expanding on the grocery side a lot more in the coming year or two.
And this is another tip from my book. I hate to keep pointing out how wonderful our packaging is, but there's a lot. Truth in labeling is very important to me, and it should be important to you too. When it says garlic olive oil, it's because it was made with extra virgin olive oil, which is in her ingredients. It's Greek extra virgin olive oil and garlic oil. Those are the ingredients. But as Katerina knows, and that's properly labeled, when you add anything to extra virgin olive oil, it becomes defective. Defective doesn't just mean that there's a problem with it. It means it was changed. So by adding garlic oil to extra virgin olive oil, it doesn't hurt the product. It just no longer can be legally called extra virgin olive oil, because extra virgin olive oil is a pure food that has only one ingredient in it. So if you go into the store and you see bottles that say garlic extra virgin olive oil, please don't support those brands. I may like those people and I may like their product, but they're taking advantage of you as a consumer, because there is no garlic extra virgin olive oil as a finished product. Just so you know that. And that tells you a lot about the commitment of the producer, because you lose customers that say, I really want extra virgin. I don't want olive oil, but you're doing the right thing. And I'm sure you're educating them on that.
Exactly. No, it's there's so many brands out there that will say garlic extra virgin, or whatever flavor they're using, and call it extra virgin. And that the olive oil that we start with before adding in the garlic flavor is our white original extra virgin olive oil. So
it starts with this, and you add the garlic oil, and you end up with this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And for the holidays, I received some beautiful boxes. I think they were 2-pack boxes from you with some nice literature and some samples.
Yeah. And then I have one right here. I can grab it in.
So these are, we're coming up on the holidays. Mine was not that pretty.
We have a couple different ones. This is our holiday gift box for this year.
That's beautiful. That's really stunning. And then your new cookbook that you just came out, those are ready to ship for the holidays as well, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's called Kosterina Kitchen. It's a mix of traditional Mediterranean recipes. One is actually from my mother-in-law. It's her famous spanakopita, world famous spanakopita, and things like moussaka and gemista, but all the way through to sort of wellness, better for you hacks on traditional American style recipes. So we have Mediterranean style air fryer chicken wings, to give you a sense.
Oh, that's smart.
So yeah, it's a really
and
nice
that's also, that may not be in stores, but certainly on your website, probably on Amazon.com, things like that.
Exactly.
So I'm encouraging people, not only to support Kosterina, of course, but for the holidays, think about giving really good olive oil, a book. She has so many other items back there. She's got her balsamic vinegar collection, her chocolate balsamic, these little vinegars that I tried at my book launch that I almost fell in love with. They were just, Gail Simmons was there and she said it was one of the best things she's tasted at the whole show. Buy these products and give them as gifts this year. Forget about the usual Harry and David stuff. Okay, that's been there, done that. Nobody wants any more wine. extra virgin olive oil, high quality, directly from the source, from someone that cares, that has a beautiful collection. You cannot go wrong. I've been in olive oil for almost 20 years. I'm telling you that you give somebody a bottle like this, or you give them a collection, they're going to be your friends for life. It doesn't matter what you do, they're never going to want to leave you because they're going to expect another gift like that the next year. And I know I'm going to be ordering some for some of my friends. Um, so the new harvest is coming. What is it looking like in Greece this year?
I'm actually heading down in a few weeks to visit all our producer partners and taste everything and figure out how much we're going to bring over. Because what we do is we actually buy everything and at the time of harvest and bring it all to the U.S. in January. We want to make sure it's stored properly in temperature controlled environments. Of course, heat is an enemy to good olive oil, as you probably know.
Yeah.
But everything is looking good for the Greek harvest this year, thankfully. No major issues. The yield is looking like it's going to be on par with last year.
Good.
And yeah, we'll be down there tasting really soon. So I can't wait to report back.
And I'm behind you. I'm going to Spain in November. They're not having as wonderful a harvest, especially in
Right.
Andalusia. So, what people need to understand is olive oil comes from an agricultural product called olives, and olives are, very temperamental, and it could be anything from temperature, climate, wind, bugs. Especially when you're organic, like her products, you can't treat the trees the same, so you take a greater risk,
Yes.
which means a lower yield, which means financial, uncertainty for her. So I really encourage people, I don't say this often, but this is one of the brands that is absolutely bankable. It's 100% bankable. Take it from me. I have bought these oils. I like these oils. I like what she's doing with her company. And what's next? I mean, you've done so much this year. Is there anything possible that you could talk about for next year? Or is it just getting these products in further distribution?
It's definitely getting further distribution in the grocery channel and mass retail. We just launched our everyday extra virgin olive oil tins.
Yep.
So those are our 3 liter size, and so we'll be working to get those into restaurants and back of house. We really want to encourage restaurants to switch over from canola and vegetable oil to cooking with olive oil.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we'll be focused on. And then we'll be expanding our product line across each of our categories. So as you mentioned, we're in olive oil. We make balsamic vinegars. We make our crushed fruit vinegars.
Yep.
We also make dark chocolate bars with olive oil. There are actually studies that show that when you combine extra virgin olive oil and dark chocolate at the same time, those antioxidants amplify and create significant heart health benefits, which is just amazing news. And then we are expanding our skincare line. Our skincare line is all made with 100% pure extra virgin olive oil for the antioxidant and hydration benefits.
I don't know how you do it. I'm tired just listening to you because I've been doing this a long time. I've never been able to spread that wide in the short amount of time that I've watched your brand grow. It's really impressive, and that there's no misses. There's not a product on behind you that isn't a winner. I got to give you as many props as I have.
Thank you. That's so kind. I appreciate
Very
that.
impressed with you, your family, your commitment. Folks, I know you've got a lot of choices. Please be careful in the grocery stores. Don't be tempted by these buy one, get one frees or these possibly low prices. We know the economic times are tough, but with extra virgin olive oil, with quality like this, okay, these bottles are 33 servings in a bottle. And for $20, you're talking, 80 cents a serving. Nothing costs 80 cents. A cup of coffee costs $5. So invest in your health, invest in flavor, invest in quality food for your family and your friends. Buy a brand like Kosterina, and you're not going to be disappointed. Just don't leave the bottle near the stove, no matter how pretty it is, because as Katerina said, heat is a major enemy of quality. Put it in the pantry or put it on the other side of the kitchen, out of a view of the stove and the oven where heat can get to it. And watch Kosterina, watch their social media. Can you tell us your social handles for people to follow you?
Yes, absolutely. So on Instagram, we're at Kosterina. And we're new on TikTok, but building our presence there. And on TikTok, we're at Kosterina EVOO, at Kosterina EVO.
All right. So are you going to make the TikTok videos, or are you going to have your kids do it? I mean,
we are not dancing on TikTok, but we do have a lot of recipe content. And I'm actually sharing a lot of information like what we talked about today on my handle, which is Extra Virgin Mama. And so, yeah, we're excited about TikTok because it really just helps you reach a lot of people. And I recently posted a video called How to Tell If Your Olive Oil is Real or Fake. And the interest in this topic is really impressive. Definitely tons of views, lots of questions, so much controversy and comments and discussion, which is exactly what we want.
Yeah. Well, you know, as we close up, you know, you were there at my book launch, and I put a lot of sweat equity and my own money into this book. I have now sold over 10,000 books,
Wow.
and since June when we
Congratulations.
launched it. So this shows you, and I did not pay to be a New York Times bestseller, which some people can do. This is all organically happening because people are sick and tired of being taken advantage of. And what you're doing in your products, in your messaging, in your media, it helps people finally get over the finish line of, when do I make that decision? You've got it in the right stores at the right price and the right package, and the quality meets those same high standards. So thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for being part of the MDR library. You can learn more about Kosterina and our other brands at mdrproject.com. You can always reach out to me at david@evoguy.com, or my website, where you can go to kosterina.com and look at her products, order. I know that sometimes that she runs out. I follow her and I try to get product, and she says, we're temporarily out. Buy it today and don't wait till tomorrow. That's what we're learning about. COVID taught us always have hand cleaner around, which we never thought about. When you want good extra virgin olive oil, do not wait for the new harvest. It's coming, but buy it today and then have it, because you don't know what her inventory is going to be tomorrow. So don't wait. Buy it today. Get it for the holidays, and you will not regret this purchase. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. That means a lot coming from you.
I
Thank you for
appreciate
having
everything
me.
you're doing. I'm a big fan. And join us again for the next edition of MDR Evo Library Live. Thanks, Katerina.
Thank you.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.